In this episode of Negative Modifier, we'll be playing the game Delta Green. Delta Green, by design, tackles various mature themes that may be uncomfortable or triggering for listeners. Listener discretion is advised. Kind of a day in the office, then it's off to Kansas for everyone. Who wants to go first? Or I guess kind of more of a general home scene, I guess. Like, what are you handling before you skip town and go off on yet another Delta Green mission? I guess technically not a Delta Green mission, kind of your own personal op at this point.
Yeah.
Well, Jackal was dismissed on military leave to look into something that happened while he was overseas, and he's never checked back in on it yet.
Sure.
So he kind of went back to Ohio and has been like taking long weekends camping, taking judo lessons, just kind of like going a little stir crazy, not really feeling like he was ready to go back.
Yeah, so give me a luck check on that, actually.
99, fumble.
Yeah, so you did receive kind of like, they're not expecting you back immediately, but you have kind of received notification from your job that they received word that this kind of, this revisiting of your military history, that's, they've notified to expect you back at work soon. Okay. Maybe you need a day or two off beforehand kind of thing, but they are expecting you back in the near future kind of thing to resume functionality.
Okay. So I should probably call my boss and, let him know he probably received a letter and just try to sound proactive about it and say I can start like next week, Monday type thing.
Yeah. You gotta try and like make it seem like you're just kind of like coming out of a fog on this one. How you playing this one, I guess? Do you email? Do you call in person? Like, how are you going about it?
I'll send an email, but I'm gonna try to own it a little bit more and just kind of be assertive. Like it's kind of in my hands to communicate with work and tell them when I'm going to be back after all this is all wrapped up.
Sure.
And if there's a kind of discrepancy with the letter, hopefully he's trusting me.
Yeah. So, give me a persuade.
62, failure.
It's not the most convincing thing, but also like this was kind of a need to know type of basis thing. Give me a bureaucracy check though too on top of this.
27, failure.
It's not as convincing as maybe you want it to be. Like he has to take you at face value, but it's just like maybe your heart's not like again. You're a military guy. You're not necessarily kind of a bureaucrat. Maybe expect some consequences, or at least kind of where the hell were you this last week when you get back from this kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Something along those lines, potentially. Who's next?
I can go next, jet lag. Yeah. I think I would try to at least attempt to make this a work-related trip.
Sure.
I would try that first.
That's bureaucracy.
Okay. 60 out of 63 success.
Yeah, so you kind of you file the right paperwork. Your boss does. You're doing this in office. Or you're doing this from home, I guess. Like, where are you doing this from?
I think I would be back in the office doing this.
Yeah. And what is the explanation of why you're kind of going to Kansas?
What I would give would be like, since I was called in as an expert consultant, undercover, I guess, on the previous one, but I would say that now that happened once and it went well, I'm sort of being seen as this external expert being called in for various issues. And I would use the same story that we're going to give to the state park people of just that there's this lake and this fish issue. We have a lot of experience with water wildlife in Florida. There seem to be some concerns about the fish population here, and they asked us to look into it.
That'll work there in theory. I guess like your boss didn't assign this to you. How are you explaining to them that you have this case you want to go run down? Like, did you get a tip? Like, what's your explanation of why you've essentially assigned yourself work? Typically, the EPA is investigating, so they're kind of looking for trouble. It's like, oh shit, something's bad happened. Send in the EPA to figure out what happened.
Oh yeah, I would say it came from the state. Whether this is probably not true, I don't think he would look into it. But my plan would be to say that the park rangers thought there was an issue. They contacted the state EPA, and the state EPA called federal EPA.
Okay, and I guess why didn't it go through him? In theory, he's again still the one in charge of that, or like, are you playing it off as you were kind of like hand selected for this, given your recent kind of high profile?
Yeah, I was going for the hand selected kind of thing.
All right, cool. So yeah,
it's more like a technical expertise thing. Like that's pretty common in the scientific world. If you just you don't contact their boss, you contact the person who might have the expertise to help you. And
that makes sense. Absolutely, yes. Yeah. So I'm gonna say because you got the bureaucracy through, and it is like you've made it look all nice and official and all that stuff. Give me a persuasion at +20.
Okay. Ooh. 88 out of 74. Fumble.
Yeah, that does not go well. The paperwork looks legit, so your boss kind of has to shrug and go, okay, I'm kind of surprised it didn't go through him. But again, when you get back from this, there might be questions, but also kind of if you indeed find something, maybe less questions kind of thing. Like your boss is suspicious of the fact that someone at least didn't even clue him in on this whole situation. But, again, like it's the science world. It's not like the most unheard of things, but it also is the EPA, so a little weird, but also not the weirdest thing ever. Maybe they're kind of taking you as more of a private contractor at that point or something. Who knows? I don't work for the EPA. I don't know exactly how that whole system works.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Jumper will go.
All right.
In an attempt to basically bankroll her trip, she's going to put fillers out for anybody who's interested in like exotic local festivals, and basically pitch that she's heard of this very intriguing local, basically unknown festival out in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. And if anybody wants to basically take her, bankroll her in investigating and writing an article about this.
How are you spinning this? Like, is it like a Electric Daisy Carnival thing? Is it like a hobo festival? Is this like a Vice style thing? Like, what's the vibe you're putting out there on this on the festival?
More like maybe hidden gems for would-be travelers.
Okay, so some like AAA style pamphlet reporting almost.
Yeah.
Kind of very dry, very like not for the young people,
I'm
but
gonna go
like
out there and kind of maybe write it up as like a travel guide kind of thing. Like, oh, I heard about this cute little festival out in the middle of Kansas. Something you might want to check out one of these days.
Something for like RV Quarterly or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool. So, give me a search on that one.
Okay. I failed with a 61 out of 45.
No one's looking for kind of Kansas-based tourism stories right now. Maybe you can sell it after you write the report or after you write the kind of whole thing up for. That's the thing that people do all the time. Like, but no one's coughing up the funds just yet to make you for you to go do this. After you can find a new way.
I'm gonna go into work, and
All right.
I'm gonna act sick as shit.
Okay. Like how sick we talking? Like throw up at work kind of thing? Like what's the plan?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to look. I'm gonna be coughing as much as I can, blowing my nose even though I don't have to, that sort of thing. Maybe act nauseous and tell everyone that I don't feel well.
Well, and I guess like you have a pharmacy background. You have a pharmacy skill, right?
Yeah.
There's plenty of stuff you could take that like is not lethal and won't like debilitate you for more than 24 hours that would absolutely make people think you were legitimately sick too. Like the old like accidentally taking like a Visine instead of using it in your eyes. If you drink that stuff, it will make you kind of vomit uncontrollably for a couple hours, and it will indeed make you look indeed sick. You want to go that approach, or is this going to be all acting?
I was completely unaware of that, and now I'm very concerned.
Maybe it's not Visine, but it's a bunch of like over-the-counter stuff that if you take it, it gives you just like legitimately terrible food poisoning almost instantaneously.
Is that common knowledge that everyone else had that I am just learning? That's not. It's like, oh yeah, the old take Visine to make you puke. I hadn't come across that ever before in my life.
Like you can buy Epicac and stuff like that too from most drugstores.
I mean, you've certainly heard of the trope of like putting laxative in your coworker's coffee that you don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's the angle. I like that. I'm gonna take use my pharmacy skill to get something that'll make me have to Ralph at work, but I'm also just gonna act really, really shitty. Did you want me to roll anything for that? Do you want
what is your pharmacy skill for that?
50?
Oh yeah, no, you know this stuff well enough. Like, yeah, you can find something that does that. So you slip it into your coffee. Like, what's the plan on this one? How are you dosing yourself to make yourself just believably sick?
How fast acting is it?
Pretty fast acting, like with an hour or so. And
okay, I eat my kids' Fruit Loops for breakfast. A ton of them.
Okay.
Just stuff my face with them, and then when I get to work, I drink it real quick. I wash it down with just some water or something, and just kind of wait it out. My goal is to throw up in the bathroom, but not necessarily in a place that doesn't require the janitor's attention, but also not on my desk.
All right, so let's see if you actually pull this off. So you're at your desk, you're sitting there. Give me a fortitude save.
Is that a thing? Okay.
I guess that's more Constitution at that point. Yeah, that's your health.
Okay.
Got my games confused there for a second. Yeah, that'll be a Constitution.
No, yeah, I do that all the time. Okay, so oh god, 89 out of 65 failure.
All right, so you had this plan that you were gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna be real controlled about this, and the drugs kick in a little bit faster than maybe you thought they were. Like you thought you had about a half hour left, and you didn't. It turns out, so you're gonna kind of make a mad dash for the bathroom. It's very believable, though. You are obviously sick. There is no faking this whatsoever. Give me a luck.
64 out of 50 failure.
So as you are on the way to your out of the bathroom at full speed, your boss comes around the corner and starts walking towards you. What do?
Is he in the way?
He's coming towards you. Like, he yells at you like he's trying to get your attention. Like he definitely wants to talk to you or something.
I wait. Like I throw a finger up in the air like 1 minute and continue toward the bathroom as best I can.
All right.
Is he between me and the bathroom?
Oh, he's definitely between you and the bathroom.
Oh, I try to wave him away.
All right, give me our Constitution check.
72 out of 65.
All right, I'm not going to be a total jerk on this one. Give me a dexterity check now.
Fumble, 77.
So you try to dodge left to get away from this as you just feel kind of the insides of your stomach just start boiling up into your throat. And as you stumble, you grab your boss kind of to steady yourself. And he's very confused by this. And despite every best effort you have, you just projectile vomit Fruit Loops and other stomach contents just down the front of your boss. He's looking at you in just this mix of fear and disgust. Like, he's almost in shock at this moment. You did not make it to the bathroom, obviously. There will probably be consequences from this, but also he may never want to talk about this ever again. What do you do in this instance? Like, this is your moment to be like, hey, I'm sick or something like that. I think I need to go home.
I fall back against the wall and just start muttering, I'm sorry, sir. I'm so sorry. I don't feel well.
Just kind of looking at you and just disgust. Yeah, I can see that.
I need to leave. I'm so
sorry,
sir.
Hey, you've been sick a lot lately. We offer medical leave. Like, he's just wringing his hands, kind of trying to get the vomit off of himself and stuff like that. Like, just ew.
My doctor says there's nothing wrong. I'll go see him again, sir. I think this might just be a stomach bug. My kids had something.
Maybe it's time to find another doctor or something. This is...
No, I think... I think my kids brought this home from school. They were with me this weekend. I'm so sorry, sir.
Give me a persuade at plus 40.
All right, persuade... Success. 8.
Yeah,
I rolled an 8 out of, I guess, 84.
Yeah, so your boss kind of like looks at you, starts to almost throw up himself because he's now realizing he's maybe a sympathetic vomiter when he's thrown up on, like just hightails like peeling out of his shirt to kind of get the vomit off of him and stuff like that. All your coworkers are looking at you like, what the hell just happened? Like, dear God. But yeah, no, you got some sick days ahead of you if you want them. No one's questioning that performance.
Yeah, I grab my stuff and get the hell out as quickly as I can. I try to disappear.
Yeah. Not the worst outcome, but you got the job done. And for those that think I was kidding on that one, that whole using Visine to make someone sick referred to as bartender's revenge.
That's even more alarming.
Yeah. That's where I heard about it the first time, at least, was bartenders that had, like, people that didn't tip them effectively. Occasionally they get mad and do that to you. But we're here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Delta Green. So, yeah, no, you've all kind of managed to cover your tracks. You've set up a plausible, if not in some cases, way too plausible alibis where you may or may not be. And you're off to Kansas. So, yeah, you arrive. I assume you find each other relatively easily. How many rental cars we sat on again? Was it one or one for everyone?
I think we went with one.
Yeah. All right, cool. So,
that Jack
where
was
you off
paying
to?
for.
Yeah, where are you off to at this point?
Well, we would have booked hotel rooms, I guess, at shoot, I had it.
Celine.
Yeah, we'll just do the Country Inn and Suites in Salina.
Yeah. Curiosity, what explanations do you give to your families for this? Like, Jotun, you're in theory homesick, but then you're off to do this.
I would tell them that I have another. I mean, there's no way for my ex-wife to verify that. I would tell her I have another assignment.
Fair. Jumper, you're kind of always off doing stuff anyway, so that's
a
moot point.
I mean, I just give the simple explanation that I got into the story to write. Head off.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably similar for me. Out on a field assignment.
Yeah.
Happens with some regularity.
I decided to not check in with my family when I came back.
Fair.
Probably
All right,
take a hit on that bond.
Yeah, not just yet, but maybe we'll get to that. Yeah, so yeah. Welcome to Kansas. Where are you starting, I guess? You're going to check into the hotel? You're going to go to Brookville? What's the plan?
Well, it's night, so I guess we would go to bed.
All right, so you find your hotel room and kind of check in and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Separate rooms or one room for everyone?
Separate room.
I'll bunk with somebody if they want.
You can stay with Jackal Jotun.
I'll stay with
I'll
Jack.
get my separate room again.
All right, so you're all asleep. You're dreaming. Everyone give me a sand check.
Oh, good.
Yay, my favorite.
Jackal got a 62 out of 76 success.
Jotun, 5 out of 53 success.
I got a 43 out of 35 failure.
And 86 out of 78 failure.
All right, so if you failed, you have a stranger. You only take one little point of sanity damage, though. Nothing major. But you kind of hear... you're looking out across the lake, but it's an impossible lake. And at the lake, you see kind of maybe it's two suns, maybe it's two moons setting at the lake. It's all very kind of abstract and sci-fi and Pink Floyd album cover. And just kind of somewhere far away, you hear just this kind of this refrain of some kind. Along the shore, the cloud waves break. The twin suns sink behind the lake. The shadow lengthen in Carcosa. Strange is the night where black stars rise and strange moons circle through the skies, but stranger still is lost Carcosa. Kind of hear that, like someone's talking to you, but there's no one around.
Is this while we're just lying in bed?
No, while you're sleeping. Like it's
Okay.
playing, I guess, kind of while you're having this weird dream as you're standing at the shore of this impossible lake.
And this is just jet lag and jumper.
Yep. Did that push anyone past a breaking point out of curiosity?
Not me.
All right.
Oh. Yeah, anytime I take sand damage, I automatically go past breaking.
No, you should have. So your new breaking point is was your previous breaking point minus that same POW again. Should have a new breaking point.
It never updates.
Yeah, you have to kind of keep track of that yourself.
So how do I do that?
All right. So, what was your previous breaking point?
Well, my current thing was 35.
All right. So what's your POW?
12.
All right. So in your previous breaking point was at 35, so it would just be that number minus 12. So I guess what was your first breaking point?
Okay, so it'd be 35. That'd be 23.
All right. Yeah. So that's your next breaking point.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say, like, I'm at the point where all my towns are breaking. I'm just always breaking.
Oh no, you're broken. It's just it can get worse. It's that kind of highway to madness at that point. But yeah, no. So you wake up and kind of the dream itself fades, but the refrain you heard, the kind of lines of poetry or the song, whatever it was, they stick with you a little bit. You can't quite remember them, but you've now both heard of Carcosa, apparently.
How would you spell that, just for record keeping?
Carcosa is Carosa. Sorry, Carcosa. Tell the rest of the team about that. Like, what's the call?
And Jumper just thinks she's going further. It's just another way that they've said.
I don't think I would mention it either.
Saw one big psyop or something, or just a dream?
It's just a dream.
Yeah.
Memorable one, but just a dream at this point.
Sure. So, where are you off to at this point? Do you off to the town? Like, what's the plan?
I'm anxious to roll out.
It's morning.
Yeah.
It's morning.
Yep.
Is there breakfast included?
It's a Holiday Inn. Like, technically, yes, but it's not really breakfast.
I'm making waffles with the thing that you flip.
The nightmare beep.
Yeah.
Beep, beep, beep.
That's what I'm doing.
All right.
Somebody tells me otherwise.
Fruit Loops for you, Yon.
Nope. You guys don't know. I would not have told you about that.
No, sorry. That was out of character.
Maybe you're eating Fruit Loops and I can't look at you.
I think if this is under EPA cover, I will just be wearing some straight up EPA garb. Won't even be faking it this time.
Sure. So what's the plan?
I'll wear similar stuff, but not nothing that says DEA.
Sure. Like, it's also conceivable jet lag stole some extra, or has like an extra set of EPA kind of, what you call them, windbreakers and stuff too. Those aren't super hard to get your hands on.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I figured I would just be like in hiker's gear and look like I'm going to go out, check out a local lake.
So let's, should we roll out?
After I've had my breakfast, I haven't eaten anything in almost 24 hours. I'm going to be, yes, we should head out. I say we drive straight to the lake, through the town, take a look-see around on our way through. I don't think it'd be that hard. Go to the lake, maybe look like we're doing something, then come back through, and maybe then stop for brunch or something in the town. Is there a place we can stop for brunch? I don't even know.
Yeah, not really, but in the town, not much of the town.
All right, well.
Your options are limited.
I'm open to other suggestions as well, but I think that's the first move. Quick pass through, see what we can see, and then come back through. Stop for gas or something.
I agree.
Stop for something that would involve us lingering.
See if we can find this museum too while we're there. Maybe drive by it.
Yep.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. So just driving through?
I think that's where we'll start.
Yeah. like no stops, just kind of like drive up and down the main roads, I guess.
Yeah, so as you're kind of driving through, you do notice that the only kind of restaurant in there is a place called the Sandstone Saloon. It's a small, you can't quite tell from the outside, but it appears to be a restaurant of some kind. Beyond that, you can't really tell. And this town is a whole lot of nothing. Like, it's got a high school, it's got 2 churches, but yeah, not a lot of reasons to be here. But what you do see kind of off the main drag, I guess, if you will, you do kind of see that they have there's the beginnings of a festival, I guess, and then kind of the festival seems to like indicate it kind of spills back into the rest of the town, if you will, from that kind of main street you're driving down, and people have put up a bunch of patriotic banners, kind of like it's that 1960s, 1970s decoration. It's kind of that old timey, like rah style stuff. There's a bandstand of some kind put up there. It seems a little bit off though. And Jumper, give me a alertness check as you drive through.
Yes. I'm glad. I got a 7 out of 49.
So it's kind of a blink and you'd miss it moment for you, but someone's put a lot of effort into kind of making this whole facade and kind of this whole little thing they've built up look really nice. But like, it's like for a split second, it's like you're seeing through an illusion or a mirage or something. And what you're seeing, like, this is again, like, it's like a second or two when you see this, it's all like rotted wood and run down. And like, it's what you saw there was obviously not what is there when you see it most of the time. Like, there's a decay and kind of an atrophy and an entropy aspect to it. Like, it's just kind of like people have just stopped caring. Like, windows that appear perfect for a split second have cracks or have been totally busted out. Like, a door that's perfectly fine for a second, and that split second you saw it is off its hinges and maybe lying on the dirt. But again, it's over. It passes unbelievably quickly. But no one else sees this.
All right. Now, the festival itself, is it, like you said, like, are they trying to put out a inviting vibe?
It's kind of got that small-time charm to it. Like, again, the 99% of the time you're looking at this, it's this normal kind of, like, yeah, quaint, small-town, middle America thing going on. But in that split second, you just kind of see, like, almost like an abandoned carnival type of situation where it's all still there, but like it has like years, if not like decades, of neglect and misuse on it. But that's back to normal as you look at it again, kind of thing. It's kind of a blink and you'd miss it moment.
Yeah. This all looks very nice, but I think it's like a veneer, like a fake painting onto something that's. There's something dark here, guys. I don't think this is what it seems.
Do you see something in particular, or you just got a feeling, Jumper?
Just a feeling. I mean, I can't tell. I thought I saw some for a second, but it's really a vibe. Like, my instincts to tell me this is all just kind of for show.
Oh.
That there's something dark hidden here.
Well, that's not a good sign since we just got here. I think we need to be extra wary going forward if we're getting bad vibes in the first minute of arriving.
Well, hey, at least we actually found a festival when we came here. I was kind of worried there was going to be nothing at all.
You gotta stop, you gotta keep going.
Stick to the plan and just kind of pass through.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So you're off to the lake?
Off to the lake.
Yeah. I guess, what do you do once you reach the lake?
Do we see any people?
There's people about. Like, it's a lake. It's kind of mid-late spring at this point, I guess. Like, it's maybe not peak Kansas Lake Festival time, or lake time really, but...
And I have some standard EPA, like, chemical sniffers and sampling equipment. I can use those in the water and just start taking samples, look like we're doing sciencey stuff.
Yeah, I guess, are you making, like, a show of doing this, I guess? Like, what's the EPA aspect of it, I suppose? Like, are you trying to, like, establish that you were definitely there, definitely doing lake EPA stuff? Or, I guess, who's this cover for? Or who's the kind of sample stuff you're doing for? Are you even actually bothering to do the samples, or just kind of pretending to do it?
I think we'd actually do it. This would be part of the cover, not just for, like, work, but also if anybody is looking around and checking us out and seeing who's coming in and out of town, I think
Sure.
it's good to have a strong alibi that we were, in fact, actually doing some real work.
Yeah, you are who you say you are, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense? Yeah. Yeah, so you spend some time doing that. I guess how many hours are you planning on doing that for? You're going to spend the entire day doing this? Like the first 4 hours? What's the plan?
I think we're just going to do a few hours in the morning and then go look for lunch.
Sure.
At the saloon, I guess.
Yeah. So you're going back to Brookville.
Yes, we will.
I'm hungry.
Yeah. Hard day out in the sun. You take a breather, get some food, get some water.
Yeah, so more people are kind of like, there's people now kind of milling about some, I guess is the way of thinking of it. It's not bustling by any measure of the phrase, but you do see signs of life. And the festival's kind of become a little more lively. So it was kind of like, there's an old-timey vibe to it. So someone who's putting this thing together hasn't kept up with the times. They're trying to recapture that, like, old school 50s, 60s patriotism era. You kind of hear maybe the sounds of like a brass band or something like that. It's an old-timey, small-time festival, for lack of a phrase. Like, lots of Americana going on simultaneously. There's a man in a yellow suit kind of out in front of a bunch of this stuff, directing this stuff. He seems pretty cheerful while he's kind of doing all this stuff, though. He's definitely in charge, though, I guess. It's kind of your takeaway from all that.
Is this like in the main street? Or...
Yeah, it's off the main street, I guess. Like, think of it like you kind of pull up on the main street and then it kind of extends back into the rest of the town, and it kind of like weaves its way through the rest of the town, like almost like kind of like a block party might, but kind of it's a whole town thing where it's like, oh, the town's on display and stuff like that.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, there's this guy. He's dressed in this yellow jacket. He's kind of in charge of everything. There's things going up around him. You're gonna go to the restaurant still? Like, what's the play, I guess, in this scenario? Or what are you guys thinking?
Is there street food?
Not yet. So the festival, despite allegedly starting today, still seems to be maybe running a little bit behind schedule. They're still setting up for it some, though, too. And also, like, it was kind of vague where it's like, oh, yeah, it's the next couple of days kind of thing. Kind of that small town charm of, it'll be ready when it's ready, but we'll definitely have the museum open by X date.
Well, I'd be inclined to go to the saloon and make some introductory small talk first, rather than go straight to the guy in the yellow suit.
That works for me.
Let's do it.
It's the only restaurant in town, for lack of a better phrase. It's maybe a tad trendier than you might expect from the locale, but at the same time, it's got very little kind of competition. It sells Coors and other kind of American beers, for lack of a better phrase. It does kind of seem to lean into kind of the cowtown aspect of this town in some ways. If that makes any sense?
You mean they sell a lot of beef?
Yeah, and the menu's not exactly exciting either.
15 styles of...
It's the kind of place that lists off like every single burger patty they can stack as a separate burger all to itself. Probably being a tad unkind to it, but yeah.
Well, why don't we sit down at the bar?
So we take our seats at the bar.
Yeah. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the bartender, trying to make some introductions, trying to meet some locals. What's the plan?
Let's talk to the bartender first. It seems like the most obvious first stop.
Sure. Yeah, so kind of the guy looks at you kind of a little bit inquisitively. Can I help you? You're not from around here, are you? Holy shit, did that festival actually bring people to town? Fuck, I owe Charles an apology.
Well, actually, we're just passing through, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's what most people are doing with this town. So what'll it be? We got beer and a couple other things, but mostly beer.
Well, I'll have one of those beers and one of your burgers here, first one on the menu.
One burger, one beer. What else?
I'll do the same.
Anything different for anyone, or should I expect burgers and beers across the board?
Can I get a Diet Coke or something?
We got Pepsi, not Coke. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay, fine.
I'll take a burger and large portion of fries.
All right. And you, little lady?
What are mountain oysters?
If you have to ask, you probably don't want.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, just a cheeseburger. Dare I ask, do you guys serve salads here?
I can take the stuff we put on a burger and put it in a bowl if that's what you really want.
No.
Kind of house salad, I guess.
I mean, yeah, just a cheeseburger and a Pepsi.
Yeah, so kind of goes about getting this ready for you. It's not terrible food. It's not amazing. It's cheap, which is fantastic. It's kind of typical, hey, there's a truck stop or a truckers come through here type of fare, for lack of a better phrase. So yeah, you get your food in a timely manner. It's not a lot of people in the bar right now. It's a weekday and it's a bar kind of thing around lunch. Kind of surprised the liquid lunch. Since you're passing through, what brings you through town?
I can answer that. I work for the EPA, and these are my associates. There's an issue down at that lake. I can't remember the name of right now. Starts with a K. It's a little bit southwest.
The EPA. What type of problem is it? Like poison or something?
Nothing harmful to humans, but it could be. There's some concern that the increased boating and stuff that's been going on in the lake in recent years with the increased tourism in the area has been affecting the fish spawning rates. And so the local rangers called the state EPA, who called us to come in and take a look at it.
Suppose that makes sense, yeah. I'm kind of surprised. Not a lot of concern out here for the lakes like that, I guess. Not a lot of stuff around to pollute them, but I guess we did have that truck spill a couple years back. Maybe that was causing something.
Yeah, well, you'd be surprised. Some of these fish species are very sensitive to even minor changes in their chemical environment in the water. So even really small changes could have a huge impact on the local area. We've seen this in many other lakes before.
Interesting.
So you go ahead.
I was just going to say we saw the festival setting up outside. Is that an annual thing or what's going on?
It's the damnedest thing. Charles. God, what's that guy's last name? It's a weird one. It starts with an X or something. Xanthus. He said it once. It was kind of falutin and big city like, but he came to town. I guess like he had this whole plan to revitalize the town, make it a tourist destination in Kansas, bring in the people to see our small town of Brookville or something. Guy talks fast and big and has a bit of an air about him, but I gotta give him points. The festival's happening. I don't know who's going to show up for it, but between that and the lake he made, the museum he's putting up, the man's putting some money into town, like anyone asking him to do it even.
So this is the first one then?
We've never had this. We're called like something weird like the Holy Festival or something. Churches seem to be real up in arms about it in a good way, so I'm all for it, I suppose.
And did you just say he made a lake?
Yeah, part of his whole like improvement to the town is kind of like gestures over his shoulder. If you kind of go north up through town, basically following the whole like festival route, they converted some like warehouse space or something into a museum, and I guess they made like a lake behind it or something. They were digging it out for months. They're gonna like put some fish in it, make it like a tourist destination or something. I don't know. I haven't been up there in a little bit. Kind of, it's a lake. I'll see it when the festival happens. I guess they've been kind of christen it or something. Maybe lose some fish in it or something. It's a big to do. Not a big lake. Like I think you can wade across it or something if you really feel motivated to.
Well, that is pretty interesting.
Is this Charles guy the one that was out in the yellow?
Hard to miss him. Man is dressed head to toe in that ridiculous yellow outfit of his. Strutting around like a king, just bellowing orders at people. Real passionate, though. He's like lots of high ideas about bringing arts back to the town. There's going to be singing and dancing, and I guess maybe a play or something as part of all this. I call it a Follies or something. It's all a little much for my taste. It's through my entire life. I'm not sure. I'm kind of looking to reinvent the locale, I suppose, but also some tourism bucks wouldn't be terrible. I'm kind of surprised you picked here of all places, though. I could have picked one of the larger towns in the area.
Well, he seems pretty open to talking about it. Maybe we should go see for ourselves, I guess.
Be careful what you ask for. Man will talk your ear off about. He's got big plans for Brookville. Big plans. It's the next big thing, I guess, coming to town.
Oh.
I'll put Brookville on the map, I keep saying over and over, but I don't know. You got any other questions about the festival, I guess? I really don't know much. It's all kind of hush-hush and a big secret and surprise for everyone, I guess.
Was this the first year?
Yeah, no, it's never done this before.
How long has this Charles fella been in town?
Rightfully no. The festival preparation started about, I don't know, 6-9 months ago, but there are rumors of him being around town for longer than that, I guess. Like, he had the occasional story about the weirdo in the yellow suit until he kind of announced he was throwing us a festival to breathe life into our dying town, in his words.
Must feel a little patronizing, I guess.
Between you and me, kind of like gets real close. I think the man's a con man of some kind. I'm not sure what his angle is, but no one's that nice and puts up this much money for nothing. Between you and me, if this was some like ploy to trick the town into selling itself to him so he could put up some type of warehouse or something for supply line needs or something, I wouldn't be totally surprised.
Do you think the rest of the town feels your way, or they're more excited about it?
It's a festival in town. They're not stuck paying for. Like, this is one of the most interesting things to happen here in, well, years. Life kind of ticks by here, for lack of a better phrase. Like, you may have noticed, I am the only restaurant in town. Another restaurant opening up, even if they'd be competition to me, would still be a big deal to me, and a holy shit, there's another restaurant in town.
I guess, what do most people do around here for a living? Is it mostly ranching?
Depends on the person, I guess. Some wilderness stuff. You must be new in town. Not a lot of people live here. You got what you call a small population, mostly families.
Right.
You guys even have a local newspaper?
We get the one from Salem, or Saline to some of you outsiders.
You call it Salem, like the witches' city in Boston or near Boston or wherever?
Nah, I just say that to mess with people. It's Saline. I'm no history buff, and maybe the museum they're putting together will answer this. Like, town only exists because of railways and cattle and stuff like that. Like, let's just, no way to beat about that. We only were put on the map because somebody had a place to load cows, and, well, no one does that anymore.
I mean, there's still a beef industry.
Yeah, but easier ways than transporting some of that stuff by cows at this point.
You said that this Charles character made a lake?
Yeah, I had some excavators up back by where the museum's gonna be digging up some land or something. Let's just gotta beautificate a town or something like that.
Okay, how big a lake? Have you seen it?
Recently, but like it's not deep. It'd be hard to drown in it, I guess. Like, as the joke's been around town, like, it's wide but not deep. Like, maybe it's like 4 or 5 feet deep tops.
And what was he doing with this warehouse?
He's converting it. That's the museum. Like, he's going through some converting process of turning that into the museum. What's
going to be in the museum, though?
I don't really rightfully know. You should go ask him. It's all hush-hush. He promised he'll be patriotic and paint the town in a good light and stuff like that, I guess. I don't know. Probably just cow towns and railroad stuff. And yeah, the last big thing to happen in town was our basketball team won something back in the 50s, if I remember correctly.
So this Charles, you said he's approachable?
One might say annoyingly so.
Okay.
Will that be all? Business ain't exactly booming right now, but I probably should get back to some stuff. Perry and ready, I guess.
Yes, fine food, thank you.
Indeed, thanks.
Enjoy the festival.
We're not here for the festival, but we'll see if we have some spare time after testing water samples and fish eggs and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Jackal,
What's up?
that letter. Who was it from?
Can't remember exactly, but I'll tell you, it probably started with an X. I think it was something like Xanthos or Zarathos or something like that.
Where is the letter now?
Well, the hell are we talking about? I have a picture on my phone. Pulls up letter. There's that goddamn yellow symbol. What was the last name?
Xanthos, Xanthous.
Xanthos it was. Well, if there was actually a contribution to this museum, I'd be willing to bet it's in that warehouse.
I bet it's no good. We need to get in that warehouse.
I'm almost wondering if this Charles will just give us a tour.
I'm wondering if we could demand to see the lake. EPA and all.
It's a good question, too. Probably needs a permit to stock fish in there.
Jetlag, what do you think?
Hey, we could try it. That's usually going to fall under more local or state jurisdiction than ours, but we can give it a go.
Well, I don't want to put him up in arms right away. If he hands over information willingly, I'd rather go that route and then...
Yeah, I agree with Jackal. He certainly, by how he was described, seems like an amiable fellow. He might just be interested in sharing his gospel, whatever that may be.
And if we come across the lake and think it's problematic, maybe we can make a decision there.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something up with that lake. Like, place to put his sacrifices.
More generally, who builds a lake in the middle of Kansas?
Also a good question.
Hey, I agree.
I don't know if we can go and assume that for all we know, he might not be aware of... What would you say is the percent likelihood this guy is aware of Felder's, state? His, not his recent demise, but rather his generally occult nature.
In my opinion, does a gator shit in the Everglades? He definitely knows.
First time I've ever heard that expression. All right. So if he definitely knows, do we want to even approach him? I don't see a lot of other ways around it. He's going to see us.
Yeah, but he may not know it's us. I'm sure he knows about Felder. Does he know about us and our involvement with Felder? That I am not sure about.
Mm-hmm.
So while he may be suspicious that there could be somebody coming along, I don't know if he would necessarily believe it's us off the bat. He is throwing a festival, after all.
Seems to be drawing attention to himself.
Mm-hmm.
Do we bring any guns?
Always.
Yeah.
Well, do we want to pay and head out and talk to our yellow-coated friend?
Yes, sir.
Now, in the interest of getting on his side, do we spin the whole, well, we're here with the APA, we're taking a look at that other lake, we heard you made your own lake, we want to take a look at it too, just cuz? Not like we got to make sure that everything you're doing is above board, but more of a, professional curiosity.
Yeah, I think that could maybe work. We could use it, say we're using it as a control, potentially, to compare and contrast with the lake that we are investigating.
Maybe need to get some soil samples.
Yeah.
I think we should just... this is as much of a oddity as anything. We should just act unassuming and be curious about the hubbub in the town and ask him about it and see what he says. I don't think we should lead with the lake thing.
All right, that's fair too.
Yeah, I agree.
But remember, we're here with the EPA.
Yeah, and if he presents the lake to us and we we can remark on it then, I think.
Fair
Okay,
enough.
with a little improv.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be here if I wasn't.
All right, let's go outside.
So you want to go find Charles?
Yep.
Go find Charles.